Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side gig. Welcome. It's a little late again tonight, but it's a good one. I know you're gonna enjoy this topic. I was preparing for. I was actually in Los Angeles with family, and just got back about a half hour ago, and I was just sitting on the couch preparing, and I dozed off. So, Money, welcome. What are you doing up? You're gonna like this one. So yeah, I just got home, kind of dozed off on the couch for 10 minutes, and I'm like, I gotta get up, do my live. So this is actually a requested topic, and the difference between being alone and lonely, right? And it may not be, yeah, it may not be. Okay, so there's an obvious difference, if you would, right? But I want to kind of open it up a little bit more and give you a little bit more than just the obvious. Okay, so I'll give you a little background on me. I am an only child. Well, okay. So I have a half brother, half sister from my mom's side, but we never grew up under the same roof together. So I was really the only child. Some of you know a little bit about my childhood stories. This is not that live, but I do want to point out a couple things. So I grew up, I know some of you are gonna not even believe me, but the truth. So I grew up playing with nobody. I can probably count the number of times I had a play buddy or friend to play with as a child, in one hand. I don't remember like more than maybe once or twice having a friend come over and just play for a couple hours and leave. So I was always by myself. Okay, I didn't have brothers or sisters around me. I didn't have friends. I never went outside to play with kids. I know some of you are not gonna believe some of my stories, but I've shared this before. But I learned how to ride a bike inside the house on the carpet in my room. So I never rode a bicycle on concrete as a child. So I don't even know what that means. So I've always been by myself, alone, right? And then, we got to US, and I'm going to shrink this. It is not about me. We got to US, and I have lived on my own. Yeah, it's been, I want to say 28 years, 27 years. So I've been alone 27 years. Out of those 27, I'd say 19, 20 years of it was by myself. Okay. Here and there, I've had relationships. I've been married before once. I lived in Michigan for a little bit with somebody, or actually some people. And so out of that 28, 29 years, I'd say about 19, 20 years of it, I've been alone by myself, 21 years by myself, right? Kind of, I've always lived by myself. Now, I have been alone, right? In a lot of cases, I have been alone in taking care of myself. I have been alone in putting myself through college. I've been alone taking care of my stuttering. Okay. I've been alone, going through bankruptcies and losing places, jobs, and this and that. Just, I've been alone through all that. Every single thing I've gone through my surgeries and things. Um, and that has been okay with me, right? The fact that if you're alone, that means that the crowd is not around you, right? You're just by yourself. You're alone. There's no crowd around you. Okay. So you're by yourself. There's no crowd around you. Oh, hey, John, what is going on? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, bro. So if you're alone, then there's no crowd around you. Now, you could be comfortable with the no crowd around you. I am very comfortable with no crowd around me. Like I said, I've been alone by myself for a long time, right? So I'm totally okay with that. Some people like that crowd, right? Some people like the buzz. Some people like a couple people around, right? Maybe a couple of pets, or hey, it doesn't always have to be another human. See, you can substitute human with pets in a way. When you, I mean, with little guy, it was like a human, right? So you can definitely substitute that, but some people must have that. Like they just feel like they're gonna fall apart if there's nobody around. There's no crowd, no dog, no cat, no bird, no friend, no son, no daughter, no spouse, something, right? Some people are okay with just being by themselves, alone, right? Now, here's the other tricky part. Uh, I was in LA, bro, today. It's a long story. I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up. So if you don't if you're not okay with being like by yourself, that's okay too. But here's the tricky part. You know, like I said, I've been alone for a long time, but I've never felt alone. You feel me? I've never felt alone. Now, here's the big catch. Stick around with me. You can, there's a few combinations here. You can feel not okay with being alone, which means you got to have a crowd around you, right? But at the same time, I want you to pay real good attention here. You can have that crowd around you and still feel lonely. See, the loneliness is a feeling that you're going to have, right? Why? It doesn't, because it's internal. When you're talking about, I'm okay being alone, that is external, okay? That means the crowd around you, right? But when you say, I don't feel lonely when I'm by myself, I have a great time by myself. In fact, I'd rather be I'm clean and I'm neat. I have certain weird things that I do, you know? So I'm totally okay, right? So it's not just the crowd that's around you, but it's what you feel inside about you as your own crowd. Did you catch that? Because that's so important. See, if you don't feel good about you in your own crowd, it doesn't matter who's going to be around you. It won't matter. I'm telling you. It may matter for a few minutes, days, but it's not going to matter for long term. It's just not going to happen. Because it's just what you have inside, it's going to shine outside, right? So if you're not happy with your own crowd, you're not going to be happy with any other crowd. It's just simple as that, right? So it's one thing to be okay to be alone, it's a whole other thing to be okay to be alone and not feel lonely, right? That's the big part. Now, I shared with you what's the like the worst thing of the two, right? Worst type of the two. The worst type is that you don't feel good being alone. Like you gotta have people around you or some kind of a crowd. I know, I know, I want to say at least one person. I know one person that gotta have people around them all the time, right? And sometimes it could get in. Well, for me, right? For me, it's like okay, well, I kind of want to have my space, right? So the worst type is when you're not cool with being alone. You gotta have a crowd, and even with a crowd, you feel lonely. You feel to yourself. That's when I feel like depression really may be peaking, right? And that's something that we gotta pay attention to. You cannot let that go. Right? You gotta pay very close attention to. So one thing I want to share with you is this. First, you gotta be okay to be alone with yourself. That's the first thing. See, you gotta be okay to be alone. You gotta be okay to chill with you, right? That's the first, in my opinion. You gotta be cool with you. Now, the other part, the loneliness part, here's how you can take care of that. You figure out what is cool for you to do when you're by yourself. What does that mean? That means, what do you enjoy doing when you're by yourself? Do you like to read a book? Do you like to watch a TV? Are you into sports? Do you go for a hike? Do you go to the gym? Do you take yourself out to eat? Do you go to the theater by yourself? Do you ever go to a concert by yourself? All this stuff means you're kind of cool with yourself. We like doing this stuff with other people, right? We love taking them out to dinner, movies, concerts, watch TV, sports event, read a book, right? But why wouldn't we want to do that just by ourselves? Think about it. I have a friend who does that all the time. She takes herself out at least once every 2 weeks. Like literally goes out to a fine restaurant by herself, you know? And she says, I love it. I treat myself, right? And I think that's brilliant. I think that's amazing. So, first step is, hey, you just be cool with you being alone, just by yourself, having your space, right? And then you figure out, hey, what do I like to do? What's kind of I enjoy doing when I'm by myself. Like for example, I like on Saturdays, so some of you know, I like cleaning. I spend a few hours doing my thing, just laundry and cleaning and grocery shopping, doing all my stuff. And I like to come home and just sit down, relax, clean place. If there's a UFC fight, I chill. I watch the fight. I do a little bit of work and just chill. That's my space on Saturdays. I dig it. That's why you don't find me on social media a lot on Saturdays, right? Later in the day you do. So that's kind of my time, right? I enjoy stuff like that. I do all kinds of stuff by myself, for myself, right? So the first step is you got to feel cool, just be by yourself alone. The second thing is you figure out what's cool for you when you're in that space, right? So hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this. I appreciate you guys. I want to know your thoughts about, the two and how I linked them and all that stuff. So drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, if you feel like this is worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love. Tag a couple people, share it on your wall. You know the drill. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side gig. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.